Hey guys, this is Dating Law, and I'm going to be ranking every single hero in Star Wars Battlefront 2. I know, Anakin came out like 2 weeks ago already, and this is a little late, but who cares? It doesn't really matter too much that it's a little late, because I'm still ranking all the heroes. And there's not that many ranking videos out there, so I guess here's mine. Let me just say, even though my villain ranking thing, I said it was impossible to use Kylo Ren. That's kind of a lie. It's possible to use anyone, no matter how bad they get. Especially our number one. He's probably going to be the easiest one to use. Even easier than noobs with Kylo Ren. Like when I was a noob, I used Kylo Ren a lot. But now, let's get started. Taking the crown of the worst hero in Star Wars Battlefront 2 is Captain Phasma. Captain Phasma's staff strikes have been improved, but her playstyle doesn't suit her, having to camp by her droid for the entire game. It gets really boring and annoying, especially in Heroes vs. Villains, where there's a lot of action going on around you. Unless you're the target, you're probably not going to even get to the action, and everyone will just ignore you, so you're going to have to go away from your droid. In that case, you lose. Because of Captain Phasma's horrible playstyle, and because her staff strikes aren't the best, even though I'm starting to use them a lot more, then I guess that she might be a good hero for you. I'm sorry that I sound a little bit different, but I'm a bit sick right now. But let's move on to number 19th. In number 19th is Finn. It was a hard decision between Captain Phasma and Finn, but I eventually put Captain Phasma below Finn because Finn could actually press an objective, unlike Captain Phasma can, unless you can use her blaster. But Finn also has a stronger blaster, so that gives him the edge over Phasma. And Phasma's blaster is pretty weak on it compared to Finn's. And Finn got a slight health buff of 200 instead of 150, and his blaster has an increased firing rate. So they both have terrible abilities, like Finn's Big Deal, Undercover Team, and Deadeye. Well, Deadeye's pretty good, but Big Deal and Undercover Team aren't that great. But Captain Phasma has a mediocre ability and another mediocre ability. But because Finn's base is better than Captain Phasma's base, I rank Finn above. In number 18th is Boba Fett. Bad blaster, 2 mediocre abilities, 1 good ability, get out of my face. But actually, the reason why his abilities are so bad is because the concussion rocket does little to nothing, and For the Hunt is just an extended jetpack, and half the time the skin doesn't even work. The rocket barge is pretty good, but that's his only good thing. And I guess he's only good because he's cheap. Like, you can just fly somewhere where nobody else can go. That's the problem. The Boba Fett has that kind of problem. And that's why he's not the greatest hero. That's why he's in 18th. In 17th is Kylo Ren. And he's improved a bit based on the hero ranking video. He would be in 8th place now instead of 10th. Because his frenzy has finally been fixed. His freeze and force pull don't glitch out as much as they used to. But they still glitch out quite a bit. Kylo Ren's just never going to be anything close to Darth Vader. Like what Rey said in The Force Awakens. I guess it's just like he has fine abilities, it's just his stamina and his frenzy. Maybe those things got improved. He could be top tier or better than the rest of the lightsaber heroes. But for now, this is where he is. In 16th place is Chewbacca. And Chewbacca used to be extremely overpowered in Heroes vs. Villains until they nerfed him. And now he feels really useless. He wasn't nearly as good as he is in Heroes vs. Villains, but can still be a force to be reckoned with. And he's the worst hero in Galactic Assault by a mile. Even worse than Captain Phasma, who's in 20th place. Chewbacca is in a really bad spot right now. If he wasn't so good in Heroes vs. Villains, I guess still, then he would be in last place. But Heroes vs. Villains saves Chewbacca now. Until he gets nerfed again. Or will he? But that is still not enough to bring him up to a spot higher than this. And I feel like we're already starting to get into some of the pretty good heroes, even though we're on 15th and not 10th or something. In 15th place is Obi-Wan Kenobi. If this was based on emotes, Obi-Wan would win it by a mile. But it's not based on emotes. It's based on how good they are in Star Wars Battlefront 2. So he's in 15th place. I mean, his Force Push exposes him, but I know they gave him an 80% damage reduction for it, but it's still too exposing. and it's like a worse version of Luke and Yoda's ability. And then Mind Trick's just a worse version of Rey's Mind Trick. And even his defensive rush is just a weaker version of Rey's Staff Strike. So all of Obi-Wan's abilities are just watered down versions of other people's abilities. That's why he's not the best here. But he does have a high health regeneration and a lot of stamina.
In number 14 is Luke.
Oh my gosh, I hate Luke so much. I mean, I don't hate his character in Star Wars, but I just hate his playstyle and him in Battlefront 1. For those of you who remember when Luke looked like Donald Trump? No kidding. He actually looked like Trump. You can go and see. And I don't like his kind of playstyle because his force push and repulse are just to knock people off the cliff, basically. And I guess for quick, easy kills if you're good with it. But that's more like Dooku's lightning stun than Luke's force push. So it feels like just a way to throw people off the cliff when they're on Kashyyyk or maybe Naboo Palace Hangar. That's why I don't like his playstyle at all. And his Saber Rush feels weaker than Darth Maul's and Yoda's. Darth Maul's is good because it's fast and it can travel a long distance. Yoda's dash attack is good because it can pierce through lightsaber blocks. Luke's can't do any of that. So, I guess he's kind of in a bad spot. But he's in 13th, so it can't be too horrible.
In 13th place is Leia.
For a long time, Leia was one of the best heroes in the game, but I'm not sure what happened. But she got nerfed significantly, so now she's not. I'm just confused. How did they nerf her, but she feels the exact same? Maybe it's not that she got nerfed, but everyone else got buffed. But Leia's in 14th because she was either nerfed or everyone else got buffed a lot. And her blaster is pretty good, one of the best in the game. And her E11 rapid fire can melt through enemies really quickly. But it seems strangely ineffective, even though it does a lot of damage. But her squad shield and flash grenade are pretty much worthless, especially since Palpatine can just shoot through the squad shield. And that's why I guess Leia is mediocre at best.
In 12th place is Han Solo.
I'm saying that I'm starting to have Han grow on me more and more, because his blaster is really good, and his Dead Knight charge is like asking to get a free kill. His shoulder charge isn't that good, and sharpshooter is kind of mediocre, but his Han's blaster is so good that you can get lots of kills with infantry and two-shot them. No other hero, except for I guess maybe Leia, can two-shot someone with their regular blaster. That's why Han takes the 11th spot.
In 11th place is Iden.
And you might have noticed that in my villain ranking video, I ranked Iden over Boss, but this time Iden's underneath Boss. The reason for that is because I took a second to think about Iden and realized that her pulse cannon and shield aren't that good, and only her alternate fire and stun are her good abilities, and the stun just got nerfed. That's not the only reason why. It's because she doesn't have a high health regen, even though her health card is probably the best in the game. But if two of her abilities, her pulse cannon and shield, were stronger or better, then she'd be up higher on the list. But her blaster and stun are pretty good, and the stun's not as bad as it was at launch.
In 10th place is Yoda.
And I underestimated Yoda for a while. It took me until I realized that Yoda's dash attack can pierce through blocks when I realized how good he was. I know, I say that a lot. A lot. But it's just a really important detail which you probably want to know. Especially since that could help you in a lot of situations, like when you have one of those annoying blockers. That makes only Anakin, Yoda, Iden, and a couple other people being able to pierce their block. And it's kind of hard to do that, so that gives Yoda an edge over a bunch of heroes. And Presence and Unleash are both really great abilities too. It's just that if his lightsaber swing animation was better, he'd be higher on the list. But it's really slow, and that's his only downfall.
In 9th place is Palpatine.
In 8th place is Palpatine. It was pretty close between Yoda and Palpatine. But I eventually put Palpatine ahead of Yoda because he can stay in the air for a long time. Unlike Yoda, who has a lower jump. And Palpatine's lightning is really good, along with his chain lightning and dark ore, which is just awesome. It can break blocks, but doesn't do a lot of damage, so I don't really include it when I talk about breaking blocks. But Palpatine's flaws are with his electrocute and if a lightsaber hero comes behind him. If that happens, you pretty much have to give up. Unless it's a terrible player. But if Palpatine got improved in those aspects, which I'm not sure how, maybe he could be higher on the list again. Or he can just be broken like he was over the summer.
In 8th place is Bosk. Bosk is one of my favorite heroes in Galactic Assault, probably 3rd or 2nd, even though he's in 7th place. He's okay in Heroes vs. Villains, but his problem is, if he goes up against a hero, he could be defeated easily, especially if it's Anakin, because you know why. And in Heroes vs. Villains, he's not bad, but it's just he's not as good in Heroes vs. Villains as he is in Galactic Assault. Like, it feels like his abilities are made more for Galactic Assault than Heroes vs. Villains. But I have to say, Bosk is the most flawless hero. I've never ran into a bug with him. Stunlocks don't really count as bugs, or else every hero would have a bug in everything. But Bosk is a really great hero who's pretty flawless. And he's the best hero he can be. But the other heroes are still better, even with their flaws.
In 7th place is Lando. In 6th place is Lando Calrissian. And Lando Calrissian is my favorite character from the films, just because of his kind of quirky playstyle. I guess you could disagree with that, but I might have been a little bit biased putting him here. He could be worse, but I still think he's really good in Battlefront 2 as well. So it's not like I'm being super biased if I am. His smoke grenade is not that great, but his sharp shot is really good in Galactic Assault, and his disabler is easy to get kills with. All you need to do is hit your sharp shot, then use your disabler, and then unload a full clip of headshots to your enemy, and then they're probably going to die. Lando's kind of one of those quick players. And the smoke grenade X8 night sniper combo, where if you zoom in, you can see through the smoke grenade, is really cool. And it's a really great trick that you should know. But Lando can't go any higher on this list. In 6th place is Darth Maul. I'm still not really good with him, but I know he's a good hero. Based on this insane attack, or it's not really a kill streak since it's Heroes vs. Villains, but how insanely well I did. It just showed me how good Darth Maul could be at his full potential. But he's still not the best hero because his chokehold, for some reason, still throws you in random directions, and his Fear's Throw is so hard to lock on with. But if you look past those flaws, he's pretty good. But it's sad that his chokehold doesn't want to kill enemies anymore, though.
In 5th place is Mary Sue, aka Rey. I really don't like Rey. I mean, it's just that she's too good, and the games prove that she's a Mary Sue more. But she is nevertheless a really great hero. Her insight or wall hacks is just phenomenal, and her dash strike is like a better version of Obi-Wan. So she has that, even though you can't block with it. But it's not that bad. And her mind trick to invert the controls is way better than Obi-Wan's too. So Rey has the advantage over Obi-Wan in every single way. In 4th place is Darth Vader. Just like in my villain ranking video, he is still a tank and can destroy enemies if you see him. He's really good in close hallways with his lightsaber. So if you get focus rage, you can go all Rogue One hallway on in the second Death Star or something. Maybe even the Boo. Darth Vader is almost flawless. I guess his only real flaw would be maybe he's slow, but I'm not sure that's really a flaw. So I guess he's really good overall. All of his abilities are fantastic, except for maybe his chokehold, which should be like in Battlefront 1. But other than that, all of his abilities work fine. And he's one of the best heroes in the game. That's why he takes number 4. Now all that's left is DLC heroes. I guess that they've been improving that much on the game. But in 3rd place is Count Dooku, or Darth Tyrannus. Count Dooku is like one of those playstyles which really suits me. Kind of aggressive, but pretty defensive at the same time, with increased lightsaber swings, which I'm sure a lot of people like, with the duelist. An exposed weakness just to take on target, like if you were in a one-on-one in Hero Showdown, or in Heroes vs. Villains. I guess it's not that good in Infiltrate, but it's still a really great ability to single out targets. And his lightning stun is just so awesome to use. it's one of those auto kill weapons, like Luke's force push. So all you have to do is go around a corner and use it, and then you instantly get a kill. That's the best part about it. And it's definitely one of the best abilities in the game. But all of Duke's abilities and his it feels like slow but fast speed, makes him a really great hero. Just shy of first place is General Grievous. Oh my gosh, I feel like General Grievous is one of my my best playstyle hero. I mean, I know that number 1 is pretty good, but Grievous fits my playstyle a lot more because I'm one of those aggressive players who go in and die quickly. And if you're watching my streams, you can see that. That's why I'm not good on hero kill streaks. And I'm just like one of those press attackers, and that really helps me with Grievous. But Grievous's abilities, unmounting advances in the back rate, throw surge is still kind of buggy, but he really shines with his lightsabers and claw rush. Without those, he'd probably be way lower on the list. But because his lightsabers deal so much damage, and claw rush can knock over enemies and deal double damage when you get up, Grievous comes just shy of first place. In first place is Anakin. I mean, of course you all knew this was coming. He has 1,000 base health, Heroic Might does 450 damage, Pull Dominance can pull enemies right to your feet so you can kill them easily. His Damaging Strike can break through blocks, and Retribution is just a force to be reckoned with. All his abilities are probably the top 4 except for maybe Pull Dominance and Damaging Strike. But they're definitely on the list. And Anakin's the only hero to have 4 abilities, unless you count Boba Fett's jetpack. But it's not that good. But Retribution is just a whole different story. Just choking everyone feels so satisfying. But I feel so guilty saying that. And Heroic Might, just absorbing damage and then using it on people. For some reason, heroes are a lot smarter than infantry when it comes to shooting at people. I don't understand why. I noticed that a bit when I was playing on Camino. And I'm going to try and get an Anakin hero guide as soon as I can get him to rank 25. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. And I hope I see you in the next one, where it might be the Anakin hero guide, I'm not sure. Or it could be the community transmission, or maybe even Toy Story 4. That's all for today. Bye.